Want to welcome y'all back to the podcast, Revelation Through Conversation. I'm your host, Ken Brown, with my co-host,
Jay Brown.
Today's topic, traffic stop from an officer's perspective. And the gentleman we have with us today, Officer Bird. I'm going to give you time, man, just to introduce yourself. Tell us just a little bit about you before we get the interview started.
Okay. My name is Officer Bird. I'm an officer here in Texas. I've been an officer just over, just under 2 years, actually.
Okay.
Full law enforcement experience, I have about 5, almost 6 years. I'm in the jail and then as a dispatcher as well. So just out here just really trying to just teach people the differences of, law enforcement and how we can kind of bridge that gap and trying to help people understand the law enforcement side, but also the civilian side.
All right, just to get an audience, this episode, man, we want to, like the title of it, traffic stop from an officer perspective. But talking with Bird, he told me how he just want to educate us on what the do's and what to not do, like when you encounter an officer. So we can get started with that, man. Like, what is something you want people to learn from this? As far as we just start with just a basic traffic stop when they pulled over by an officer, man. What shouldn't we do?
One of the things we shouldn't do is ignore the sign that there's lights and sirens, or just a vehicle behind you that has red and blues going, and you're not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I learned when I was in the academy was, when you see flashing blue and red lights, you're supposed to slow down, turn your hazards on, and move to the right. A lot of times, especially in today's society, people get spooked, and I mean, I'm not even gonna lie, I do too, because it's just a natural feeling that we all go.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're in law enforcement, we get in a situation where okay, pulled over, traffic violation, we just automatically go to this point where we're stressing or we're worried or we're scared. Take a breath. Slow down, look in your rear view, check to the left, to the right of you, pull over to the right. And if they're pulling you over, okay, cool. Let me pull over, slow down, pull over. And then, go to a lit area, go to the right where it's safe. And then I'm going to stop, put my car in park, turn my car off, and then just wait for the officer to come to my window.
Okay. And then after that, okay, the officer, we did all what you just said. Some of us, we might be, man, why you putting me over for? Like, so, okay, we doing all that. The officer has made it to the vehicle. What's next? What should we? Is it something we should have ready? Before the officer get to us, or like should we just keep hands on the wheel? Should we be in the car, fumbling for a driver license and insurance and stuff like that, or should we just wait till the officer get to the vehicle to go looking for?
In my personal opinion, I feel like we should wait. We get to that day, come over to the right, come over to the left, come over to the right. Let's just put our hands up here to the steering wheel first. Pay attention to which way he's coming. If he's gonna come over here to my side, okay, cool. I'm gonna roll my window down if it's not already down, and then I'm gonna allow the officer to introduce himself and let me know. Him introducing himself allows me to see, okay, I do have a present, uniformed officer right here in my window, and then I'm just gonna abide by what he says. Me, what I like to do, first thing, good afternoon, good morning, or whatever. My name is Officer such and such. I'm with the such and such police department. That's always my first baseline things that come out of my mouth. I never say anything, you were doing this, you were doing that. I just always, first thing is first, introduce myself as if like I'm just meeting somebody for the first time. So once that's done, what I like to do is ask, do you have your driver's license, proof of insurance? That allows me to see who I'm talking to and, who I'm dealing with, what kind of situation I'm kind of dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Once they provide that information to me, then I can, acknowledge, okay, I'm talking to such and such. The picture, matches who I'm looking at right now. And then it also shows on the paperwork whether you have an actual physical copy of your car insurance or it's on your phone, that it shows the type of vehicle, the year that you had insurance started to the end of where the insurance is no longer valid. Like, when they restart your insurance after, I think it's 6 months or so or whatever. And so then that's when I go and I start talking to you. Hey, the reason I pulled you over is, and then after they do all of that is when, I mean, it's okay to say something like, okay, I was doing this, I was doing that, or I didn't know, I didn't realize it. Cool. Once that's done, I go back to my car, make sure everything's aligned, with what I have in my hand. Driver's license is valid, insurance is valid, and then I go there on if they're going to get a citation or if they're not going to get a citation. And a good thing about being an officer is that discretion. If you want to give them a citation, you have that option. If you don't, you can do that as well.
Okay, so if you want to just let them off with a warning, that's your choice if you want to do so.
Yeah, most departments that I know that I've been in two departments. One I'm currently at, and one previously. The option to give either a verbal or written warning. Departments you have to actually give a written verbal warning, and some don't.
Okay, so you saying sometimes you even have to document the warning.
hmm So
Okay, I know.
yeah, what I like to do, like we have cards, so it's either citation or it says warn or warning, and it says something else. I believe it's dealing with like if your car is being towed, but the warning you'll check that, or the citation you'll check that.
Okay. See, this is my first time even hearing that even the warning has to be documented.
For some departments, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, now that right there sounds like a routine, traffic stop where everything goes like really as planned. But often, on social media, like we see all these negative encounters with the police and the civilian. What do you think are the main reasons for these negative encounters that always go viral? Like we don't see the good encounters though. It
Mm-hmm.
be there those negative moments.
Yeah. Most
From
times.
your perspective, what are the reasons that they go sideways?
So I would say two things. It could be the officer when he first comes up, his approach to the driver, and how he basically, shows who he is. That one way, or the driver itself, they're just automatically like, man, no, I didn't do that, or what you stopped me for, or this and that. And it should never get to that point. I'm here to do a job. You have the right to drive. You have that freedom to drive around. But by law, you're supposed to have what you're supposed to have.
Mm,
Also by law, that you're also supposed to abide by the laws of the land, which is the traffic code.
mm,
If I pull you over for a improper right hand turn, some people don't know that. And 9 times out of 10, if everything goes smooth, driver's license good, insurance is good, I like to educate people. Hey, the reason I stopped you is improper right hand turn. When you make a right hand turn, you're supposed to turn into the first available lane, not the second or not the third, the first available. And so people don't realize that, and they're like, oh, I never knew that. But when we get a driver's license, a lot of us never actually go and read, the traffic code, or we never read the penal code to find out what the law states and what we can and cannot do. And
mm.
that's where, in this vicinity, for me as an officer, this is where I like to, even stuff that I learned in the academy. I was like, man, I didn't know that. So ever since then, I always try to make sure I do those same exact steps. I always make sure I turn on my turn signal and stuff like that.
Okay, so the question I asked was like, from your perspective, why do these encounters go sideways? The first thing you said it could be the way the officer approached the vehicle, and then you was like it could be the way the civilian respond to the officer approaching the vehicle. I've seen this like in some cases where it's like they force the person to get out of the vehicle. What are the laws dealing with those type of things? Like when do I have the right to be like, I'm not getting out of my vehicle, and when it is lawfully for an officer to pull me out of my vehicle?
Okay, so that's a good question. Anytime an officer gives you an order, you have to obey that, right?
All
Now,
right, so you saying anytime an officer tells me get out of my vehicle, is nothing else to talk about. I got to get out of the vehicle.
9 times out of 10, just get out of the vehicle, just comply.
Okay.
Now, what it should be expected, from civilians to officers is that we know the law. We know why we're pulling them out and that it's a legal reason why we're pulling them out. And I'm not saying that, some officers, don't abide by the law or some do. But we have in the past, seen situations where that has happened.
Mm-hmm.
So these are things that we also got to make sure as officers, but also as civilians, that we read on things like case law. So Pennsylvania versus Mims, or I can't think of the other ones right off the top of my head, but those are case laws that allow, let's say I'm the only officer, right? And I have two occupants in the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
For unit because I have a second person in the passenger side of the vehicle. So the reason I'm calling for them is because I have two against one, which is two in a civilian car, and it's just me. Just to be on the safe side, and if I come into an encounter where it's argumentative, we have some situations where, it can get a little dangerous, call for a second unit just to back me, just to, watch this other person. And then
Mm-hmm.
the officer, the civilian that's driving to step out of the vehicle. The reason you can do that is because of the case law, like Pennsylvania versus Mims and stuff like that, that allows you when situations are not safe to, ask them to step out of the vehicle. And I mean, that is perfectly fine. Case law backs it. And that's the thing that people don't understand. Also, we have more things than just the traffic law. We have case law that backs us and gives us the leeway to be able to do things that people might think like, no, you're violating my rights, or you're doing stuff that you can't be doing that. But case law backs it.
Okay.
All right.
I got a question. As far as the case law goes, like, what's your response to that person? Like, as an officer, you know what bags you, or like what legal ground you can stand on of you pulling them out the car. But as a civilian, I'm driving my car, and you say step out the car. If my response is, "Hey man, can you tell me what I got to step out the car for? Can you tell me what you stopping me for?" Like,
Mhm.
what's your response to that civilian you pulling over? They don't have a clue of your perspective as far as the laws and what the laws say you can do. I don't know. All I know is I don't feel like I was doing nothing wrong. I was going the speed limit. I made all my signals. Like, what's your response to that civilian that says, "Hey man, can you at least tell me what I'm stepping out the car for?"
Yeah. So a lot of times I'm gonna tell you that, right? But what I do is, here, step on out for me. I'm gonna tell you here in a second. I just need to get you out of the car, get you away from your familiarity, right? I don't know what's in your car. I don't know what you got in your door right here. I don't know what you got under your seat in the center console. I don't know. But having you step out of the vehicle, come into my area where there's nothing in, no hands reach, nothing, you could grab nothing, and be able to bring you to the back of the car and then talk to you, that makes it safe for the both.
Okay.
Hey, hearing you say that I understand now, but I think in the moment maybe it be so much going on, the officer probably feel like I'm not finna explain to you all this right now,
Yep.
cause he worried about his safety at the moment. He's
Yep.
like, man, just hurry up, get out this car.
Yep.
So I think this something both sides can do better. Just communicate. But
Absolutely.
like you said, if I'm in my car, I'm like, man, I ain't do nothing. I know I signal. I know I want speed. Why you telling me get out of my car? I truly believe that if the officer say, hey man, for my safety and your safety, I think it'll be better if you get out this car so I don't have to worry about you reaching. But I understand how in the heat of the moment, the officer's probably like, I ain't got time for all that. Let's hurry up and just get you out of here so I can make sure I'm safe. So
Yep.
just better communication, you know what I'm saying? I think that'll help go a long way because I've seen situations when I be wondering like, hey, why they got to get out the car, But now you say that, hey, the officer worried about his safety.
Hmm.
So I get it.
And if you notice with those situations, let's say the officer does that, he's cool, he's calm, collective. Just step on out for me, bud. I've been straight with you. Can you be straight with me? And then, but they're still hesitant to get out the car. That
Okay.
does know, okay, something right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why are you so hesitant? Why are you slow to get out the car? And I've seen in many cases, thankfully not in my case, and I pray, it doesn't happen anytime in the future or in my whole career period. But they're so hesitant to get out the car. It's because they have. We've seen videos where they have some, and then they act, and the officer is caught off guard, and
Yeah.
it's too late then.
Mm-hmm. I
To
think.
the other side of that, it is, it's possible some people, just like the officer is worried about his safety, the civilian could be worried about their safety as well. Because, like I said, just off, even though like sometimes the incidents may be rare where the police will, kill someone, it goes viral and we think this is the norm.
Yep.
So when we used to seeing this, like it's possible that some people are afraid to get out of their vehicle because of they're thinking, okay, what if, this officer's about to harm me?
Hmm.
So I got a question off there. Let's say someone is driving and they are in fear of getting pulled over on this dark road by this police where no one is around.
Hmm.
Could they? What should they do in that situation? Because this is what I'm thinking. Maybe you could put your hazard lights on, drive slow until you get to like a lit gas station or something. Like, would that be acceptable, or would that make the officer even like more furious, like when they finally pull over? Like, can you enlighten us on how to handle a situation like that?
So I can see both parts. It can be perceived as something's not right from the officer side looking, at this car. It could be somebody under the influence.
Mm-hmm.
Those are signs that we constantly see, like they're slow rolling, not turning or pulling over and not doing what they're supposed to do. But then to your point, trying to wait until you get to a well lit area. That's okay. But at the same time, and I'm glad you mentioned putting on your hazards, because that kind of lets me know, okay, he knows I'm behind him, and I'm not trying to assume, but I could kind of assume that it looked like he's trying to get to a well lit area based off of him just that putting the car in, the hazards on and slowing down. Now I've been in instances where, and actually it was the other night, I pulled somebody over for speeding, make a right hand turn on one of the streets, and I call it out. Well, I think another maybe 200 yards, they're still driving. They actually go into the left hand lane instead of going to the right hand lane. And they still keep proceeding to go. And then I hit my sirens, my horns, to try to get their attention. Like, hey, what are you doing? Like, I'm pulling you over. I got my red and blues flashing, and then they start to pull over. So what I did, same thing. Good afternoon or good evening. My name is Officer such and such with the such and such police department. Do you have your driver's license, proof of insurance? Like I said, I'm not being upset. I'm not angry. I'm still being professional and respectful, because at the end of the day, like I said, I'm the first one making contact, so I'm going to try to set that standard. So I, get to their window and say my spiel. You have a driver's license, proof of insurance. Then once I get that, see who I'm talking to, and then I explain. Never in that traffic stop was an argument, was a misunderstanding or anything. I even educated that person. Yes, I cited that person, but it was more of an educational thing than because there was where it was cited. There's things I don't like to go against when it comes to citing and not citing, because, and back to the education part, let's say you don't have insurance. If I let you go, just a verbal warning, and then 5 minutes later you come get in an accident with somebody,
That's on you. Yeah.
or you driving at 11 plus, over the speed limit, like you see, 40 miles an hour, you going 52, 51. There's a lot of things that I just feel like there has to be a change when it comes to some of this stuff. Like, you have to realize and know, like, hey, okay, the speed limit is 40. I might go 41, 42, 45, but I'm not going to try to go 51, 52.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hey, speaking of insurance, man. All right. I'm from like the neighborhood where the poverty, and
Hmm.
what I notice about those neighborhoods, man, a lot of people don't have insurance, and it's not because they just want to rebel against the law. It's because they can't afford it.
Hmm.
So, and I'd have been in the conversations where they talking about, man, they don't have these roadblocks set up in the white people neighborhood.
Yeah.
And we be coming to our conclusions because they know they can afford the insurance and they ain't gonna get no tickets over there. So
Hmm.
they purposely setting it up over here where they know the people can't afford insurance and they know they finna hand out some tickets.
Hmm.
Is it any truth to that? And is it legal to set up roadblocks to where you having people to prove their driver license and insurance?
I don't think so. Um, Hold on. Ask the question again. Let me.
Like, is it legal to set up a roadblock in a neighborhood and just everybody that come through, you pulling them over, hey, license and insurance?
Okay. So it's not illegal to set up road closure anywhere.
Okay.
You said where you want to set. Just pulling people over randomly just to see it. hey, you got driver's license insurance, and in the traffic code, you're allowed to check to see if people have driver's license and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Get pushback. I'm sure you will, but at the same time, for me as an officer, I don't go looking like that and just pulling people over just like that. I like to, sit in my spot and just catch people just violating the code and do it that way versus just pulling somebody over. But the law does state that you can. It's just I don't do that.
So you said the roadblocks, they are legal.
No, they're not.
Roadblocks aren't legal.
Yeah, they're legal. Like really, I guess.
They are. Yeah.
They are legal. Like they have
Yeah,
the right to do it.
Yeah.
yeah. Like I post up
Okay.
and all the time. I turn my lights off and I just sit there. And if somebody blow past me and I catch them on the radar, that's what it is.
No, what I'm saying, like a roadblock is the the
And
officers have picked out a designated area where we gonna stay right here, and everybody that drive through here got to show driver license and insurance.
Oh.
so
I couldn't hear you. Say that again. I couldn't hear you.
we call them checkpoints.
Oh, yeah, so that's legal.
I think so. I don't know. I've never
Okay,
done it. Do it in my agency, so I
okay,
can't
okay.
speak on that. But I have seen it. I mean, of course, we see it on movies all the time, but I've never seen it in my uh, career. No, I haven't seen it. I haven't done it. But other states might be that way. Other states may not. Other departments might be that way as well. I know troopers. They have their weigh stations, and the 18 wheelers they'll go and they'll do their inspections by the troopers and stuff like that, passing all their regulated inspections and stuff like that. But as far as an police officer, patrol officer, I don't know. We don't do that.
Okay.
Speak on.
I'm in Mississippi, man, and I know two cities for sure known for having roadblocks. Yazoo City and Jackson. And I'm telling you, like, they known for having roadblocks. You go through it, you better have them license or them insurance or not.
Point.
You finna get a ticket. Now
Man,
I haven't heard about in some situations I done heard people like where they got their car towed and all that. I never, experienced like that. But I have went through a couple of roadblocks where okay, I didn't have insurance at the moment. They give you the ticket. Now you
hmm
gotta go get insurance before you go to court. And then like based on the judge, like it happened to me one time. I went to court. The judge was like, "You got insurance now?" Like, yeah. She was like, "Get out of here." So you know, yeah.
You had time to get it. Hey, I got a question. As an law enforcement, isn't it important the interaction with the civilians? Would you say is important? And I'm asking that question because recently, like a month ago, I got pulled over,
hmm
and you may have people that be in denial that they weren't doing nothing when they obviously was doing something. But I was guilty. I was going 60 into 40. Now I had just got off the freeway though, and I was just I don't know, man. I don't know if I was just zoned out or what. But I realized I had just left the gym. You know what I'm saying? I was just trying to get home, man. I ain't gonna lie, I was tired trying to get home. And then it dawned on me. I said, "Dang, I just passed the speed limit said 35. I'm tripping." So all of a sudden I see lights. They hauling tail behind me. All I can
Yep.
do is just pull over. Well, I found where I could pull over. I pulled over to a side road or whatever. Like it was actually going into a neighborhood. So I'm like, yeah, I was wrong. As soon as they got to my car, all I could do was smile. I'm like, yeah. Where you going? I said, I'm sorry. I was just trying to get home. And the interaction was I would say it was kind of refreshing from the officer standpoint, because they was like, let me see your ID. And I was like, dang, I said, it's in the trunk. Cause I had just left the gym. So I left my wallet in my boot, in my trunk. So they allowed me to get out the car and give it to him. I sat in on the edge of my trunk. I opened the trunk and I sat on the edge. They ran my stuff and they gave me a warning, bro. And I was wrong. I was wrong. I wasn't mad because I mean you can't be mad. I was wrong. But I feel
Yeah.
like some people would be mad and they wrong. I was wrong. All I could do is smile. And I was like, man, yeah, y'all got me. So whatever the outcome gonna be is what it's gonna be. It's fair. I was speeding. So when you say interaction is important with the law enforcement, is it important? How big of a part it plays?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you being professional, and I mean, did you admit you're wrong to him? Like, hey,
I just said, man, I was like, man, yeah, yeah, I was wrong. I just said I was wrong. Like I was speeding because I know I was hitting it, and I realized I didn't realize I was going 40 in the 60. I mean 60 in the 40 until they said it. But it dawned on me I did shoot past, I was shot past this speed limit thing that said 35. So clearly I was speeding.
Yeah.
I know I was going about 60 though. I was going fast.
Yeah, I think so, man. Actually, I tried like I played football in college and high school growing up and everything, and I like to compare football to reality, right? And like now I'll tell you a quick story. Like in order to get good at something, like in football, you got to train for it. In order to get good at something, like in law enforcement, you got to train. You got to go over your policies and procedures. You got to study the law, even if you been out the academy for so long. It's up to you to stay up on the laws and regulations to make sure you're still at your A game.
Okay.
When it comes to stuff like that, I always try to make sure. And I mean, it's the same with the interaction. I train. I continue to repeat the same functions to make sure I'm staying on top of my game. And to kind of reiterate and go back over what you were talking about, it is important, I feel, to have that positive interaction with civilians. I go in a gas station, and I might walk around thinking I'm still in my mindset of a football player, and they look at like kids look at me and other officers, and they're like, "Wow, a police officer." I dab them up on give them high fives as if like I was still an athlete, and I feel like you know, good. I mean, I was told it was a noble profession, which I still believe. And it's something that people look up to us. But I mean, you do have individuals that just, it just is what it is, and they just don't have a respect or love for us. And that's one of the things why I got into this profession to try to bridge that gap, but also to try to make a difference, being a black man, being, a man from a small area or a rough area in Indiana and stuff like that. That I see these interactions all the time, and so I at least I know from my agency, they like you when you're going by our principles. I always try to make sure I'm hitting every one of them, all four of them, and having that interaction and leaving that interaction with, okay, I think I changed a life today, or I think I maybe impacted or did pretty good educating somebody. So that's always one way I always try to go into a situation thinking in my heart and in my mind, like, hey, yeah, you did this, you did that, but at the end of the day, I still came at you respectfully. I hope to get the same from you, but I'm not going to drop to your level and then go up a notch the notch that you came and me being disrespectful. I just feel like that's not professional.
Okay.
It made me think about something. Growing up, like I said, coming from like a poor community, it's kind of like um, a lot of us is like raised to hate the police.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know why. Like part of the music we listen to and stuff like that, and like you said, not being educated. Like we'll be more focused on the police taking someone to jail and not even thinking about, okay, what did that person do? So we gotta get some accountability in our neighborhood. But I wanted to ask you, are there things being done as far as like in the communities to bridge that gap to it's like when a police pull you over, he's not a stranger to you. Like you kind of know him a little. You know what I'm saying? Is there something being done in communities to bridge that gap between law enforcement and the people?
I think so. I just don't think it's enough.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, even from an officer standpoint, I don't think it's enough. I get called to a call, say I had a runaway or something like that. I try to talk to the kid or whatever and try to meet them at their level, but then also then taking it, to the parental side is me being a father, showing them, hey, like this is why I'm here. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't want to. These are the consequences if you do this. But then also what I like to do is revisit. So if I'm in the area, if I got time, let me stop by, check on them, see how they doing. I think that's something all of us as officers should do. But I think also as a community, I feel like we should have, and some communities do. I just feel like everybody should, but we should have some times where we create that opportunity to,
Mm-hmm.
have that community officer interaction, not just coffee with a cop. Invite them to a football game, invite them to,
Yep.
me being a former athlete. Man, I mean, my boys are young, but I would love to go, check out some of the kids if they playing. You know, some teammates that are coaching. So, have
Mm-hmm.
You go see them and check in on them. Even if I'm on shift and they work and they playing, I'm gonna see if I got some time to stop by real quick, get a little look, and then kind of revisit from there. And me, I work nights, so it's kind of hard, but at the same time, if you make time for it, it's not hard.
Mm.
So it's just all about what you want to do and what you're trying to do to try to make a difference and help as much as you can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I was just sitting up thinking as you were talking, like even when I was growing up as a kid, like I don't ever remember having like a fun interaction with an officer,
Right.
where it was designed for him, because you will see like clips online where an officer in the neighborhood playing basketball with
Mhm.
some kids or something. And I think that's cool, but like you said, it's not enough of that done. And I feel like if things like that were to happen more, even though we're gonna always have some knuckleheads that just don't do what they do, but I feel like if kids was out doing something and an officer that they seen, that they knew them, they really cared for them, I think that alone would make them act a little better or respect their cop. They'd be like, oh man, they wouldn't even call them officers such and such. They'd be like, oh, that's Mr. Bird right there, because they know you from
Yeah.
a different encounter. You know what I'm saying? So off that alone, the respect and the response would be different, if we just was intentional about building that relationship with the people.
Yeah, I'll say this. I won't say it's not done enough. I would say it's not being shown enough.
Okay.
Mhm.
Viral points. We always like going viral is always wanting to get the negative of things.
Mm-hmm.
Also, still getting the positive. The positives should outweigh the
It
negatives.
should.
Virals. We live in a society where people like to see negatives.
Yeah, they look for it.
Yeah,
We only see one side of the story, nine
yeah,
times out of 10.
yeah. So
All right, man, I want to get a couple more questions because we want to educate the people, man. And I got a couple questions. All right, we was talking about the car pull you over, tell you to get out your car.
mhm.
All right, I've gotten out of my car. Do I have to consent to a search, or do he just automatically have the right to just start searching my?
Good question. So when you say consent, you know what they mean when they say consent?
From my understanding, it's giving him the right to search my vehicle.
Absolutely. So, and this is what people don't know. Yes, okay. You mind if I search your vehicle? Yes or no? No, I don't mind. Okay, that gives me consent. But people don't realize that you can stop the consent. You can say, okay, stop. If they
Yeah.
don't have probable cause and they ask for your consent to search the vehicle, and you say, yeah, that's fine, you search it. You have that right to tell them to stop anytime you want. And that's I don't think people realize or know. And so when they have probable cause to search, their consent is gone. Then, like you don't have no consent at that point, and that's because there's contraband or there's something in plain view, which means something that you can actually see right there in your face,
Mm-hmm.
or that's illegal. But with the consent, people don't realize like you could stop time if there's no probable cause to search the vehicle.
All right. Let's say I do have a weapon in my vehicle and it's legally owned. What should I do when that officer pulled me over? Because I forgot the guy. That it was online too. He got killed. I think his kid was in the car, and he had who it is. You remember?
I remember it was Illinois.
Yeah. He and I think he told him he had a weapon in the vehicle, but it was legally owned, and he ended up getting shot for it. So, like, I'm driving, I know I got a weapon, but I'm a little concerned how this officer may react to me notifying him that I have a weapon. What should I do in that case?
So it goes back to the beginning. Put your hands on the steering wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Officer, good evening, officer. Once they do they spill, it's like, okay, cool. Officer, I just want to let you know I have a firearm in the car.
Mm-hmm.
If he asks you where it is, keep your hands still on the steering wheel because people go, it's right here, or
Yeah, yeah.
keep it right here. It's over in the center console, or it's right door, or something like that. And so what he's going to do, or what I would do, okay, go ahead, stay right there. Or if I got a cover unit, have the officer come over to my side. Hey, we're going to just have you get out the car. Nothing. That's perfectly fine for your safety and my safety. We're going to have to just get you out the car. And if you don't mind, just leave your hands on the steering wheel, and I'm gonna open up your door, and I'm gonna have you step out, and then we can proceed from there. As I
Mm-hmm.
orders, go ahead, step out for me. Release your hands off the steering wheel and come up and just follow his instructions. Step out of the vehicle. If he wants you to step out this way, step out. When you come out and you face away from him, just follow his commands.
I got you.
What he's going to do is bring you back to the back of the car. He's going to have you put your hands either on your head or behind you, and he's just going to pat you down even more for weapons. Not go in your pockets, just pat. Okay, just make sure you don't have any more weapons. Then that secondary officer is going to check where you said your weapon is, and he's going to take it out. He's going to clear it safe in a safe direction and separate the magazine from the actual firearm itself, and clear one if you have one in the chamber. Take it out, and he's going to take it back to his car. He's going to run it just to verify to make sure it's not stolen. And there's not people. So a lot of times, some people might get offended by that, but it's all safe. You're safe. Trying to make sure I'm safe. But at the same time, this is all still protocol that we have to do as officers to make sure I'm safe, you're safe, and nobody gets hurt. And we don't have a situation where it shouldn't get to where it will be or could be if we just abide by the orders and then just take everything slow.
Made me think about something, man. Like I bought my gun, I think from a pawn shop, but it was like a new. They sell new guns too. Mm-hmm. What do I need to carry around with me to show that this is a legal fire?
So what you always, well, it depends because most states now are doing open carry, to where you don't need a license to carry.
Texas, one
Call
of
Texas. What open carry means, and some people still, I think, kind of confuse it with concealed carry. But open carry means it has to be out and visible.
Mm-hmm.
Number one thing is to make sure that it's in a holster. You can't just carry it like the young dudes used to do, just carrying their no holster, and you don't know if a live round is in that chamber or not. But you have to have it in a holster. Now, is that a smart idea? I wouldn't think so, but I mean, if you want to do that, that's cool. That's up to you. But if you have a concealed, you have to make sure you have a license to carry. By law, you have to have that, and it has to be valid. Everything has to be, address, everything has to be on point. But you can't, just have it out and not in a holster and stuff like that. That would be, what do they call it? I can't think of it. My mind's going to blank, but it's basically not concealed, and you're actually breaking the law doing that by not having it in a holster because you're supposed.
Okay. All right, man. Hey, all this been good, bro. Jamarcus, you got anything you want to ask him, man?
I got a question. What's the most rewarding thing about being a police officer?
I'd say probably being able to help somebody in their worst case. Let's say I got somebody that feel like they're done with life, right? Being able to step in and keep them from harming themselves or doing something that will kind of tarnish you or your family, knowing that you're not here. So being able to make that interaction with them and to get them, out of their home and get them and take them to actual, mental health facility or something to get them some help. For me, I think that's one of the most rewarding because it shows you as an officer that you actually care about somebody. And I mean, you don't see a lot of, I don't think I've seen a video of, mental health warrants or things like that. But, being in this profession, you get to see a lot of things and, it can get you. But, one of the things is always staying, true to yourself, true to your faith and, allowing yourself to have that out, meaning leaving work at work and clearing up your mind to enjoy family, do some reading, go to church, pray. Those things, which can help you, go to a counselor, have them kind of help you through any tough times. But, having that outlet from your actual job, I think it's important. And then, for me, being an officer and at that point, like you said earlier, looking at law enforcement when we were kids, thinking the negatives of them. But then now, as I got older, trying to make that relationship with kids, I just run into random, what's up, guys? Just give them a high five or something like that. I think that's real rewarding.
Yeah, man. Just like you were saying, and I just want to get that out there too. Like I appreciate law enforcement.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I ain't know no better, man. The environment you grew up in, they tell you hate the police and all that, but you get older, become wiser. I appreciate law enforcement. And, I heard that for a minute. I was hearing that defund the police, and I was thinking like, what they talking about, and then they were giving their views and their points on why. But then I started thinking about it, man. This word is already crazy. Imagine if we didn't have like people out here doing crazy things and committing crimes, knowing they could get locked up. Imagine what it'd be like if it wasn't no police. If it wasn't no one to come and correct them. Man, it'll be chaos. So I appreciate police, bro. Appreciate what you're doing for the
Yeah.
community, man. Like, and we want to just keep having conversations that, like you said, can bring us close together, bro. So, hey, we appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you for jumping on here, giving
Appreciate the
out the
time, man.
knowledge, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, before we
Hey, when you was talking though, is one more question. I had it written down, but when you started talking, I thought about it. I was driving one day and there was an officer in front of me, and I read on the back, "In God We Trust." And it
Mm-hmm.
made me think, is faith a big part of what you see in law enforcement, man?
Absolutely. I think so. Yeah. You got some people that don't have a faith, don't believe.
Mm-hmm.
You got some that do. Nothing wrong with either one. But, the way I was raised, my faith is my number one. Keeps me grounded. So, having that opportunity to, pray and, thank God for just today. A couple weeks ago, we all stuck in the house. But now we have,
mm-hmm.
80 degrees, 70 degrees.
Yeah.
Get to enjoy the fruitfulness of life, is important.
All right, man.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you, man. Before we get you out of here, I guess on another lighter note,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm pretty sure neither one of us have a dog in the fight. Or I don't know. Somebody team might be playing today. Who you got? Who y'all got in the Super Bowl? We're gonna start with you, Bird. Who you got in the Super Bowl, man?
Price, I probably say Seattle.
Yeah, that's who I got too.
I
Who you
got
got, Chris?
Seattle too. I got Seattle too, man.
Man, I got Seattle, man. They some hyenas on that defense, man.
Yeah,
I'm some ball hawks, man. So
JSN, he gonna do his thing. It's from the receiver standpoint because I played receiver, so I like to keep.
I mean, I ain't gotta say what fan I am, but I'm rooting for DeMarcus Lawrence, man. I want to see him get him one, man.
Yeah,
I
be
Hey,
want to see him get him one.
you heard what that boy said? He wasn't gonna win there in Dallas.
Like, you ain't even
His
have to take
first
that
year out
far.
of there. His first
hey,
year out of there, he in the
That's
Super
why. That's,
Bowl.
that's why Michael want to come back to Dallas.
Nah, he good with Green Bay.
Yeah, that's all right,
Who your
man.
team, Bird?
Indianapolis, man, all the way.
Yeah, okay.
But y'all was looking decent at the end of the season.
Yeah, man. If Daniel Jones wouldn't have got hurt,
Y'all be all right. We
thought
we
we.
gonna see. We gonna see what that cornerback gonna do. We gonna see what old boy do over there. Who y'all just got Sauce
Yeah, I
with,
hope.
with, with a fresh season. We gonna see what he gonna do. Everybody say he fell off. We gonna see though.
Yeah, I hope so.
Hey, so are y'all done with what's the guy name? Quarterback.
Yeah, yeah.
They
Y'all
traded
done
him.
with him?
Did they trade him?
For
I can
Rivers.
hear you.
No, not Rivers. The youngster.
Yeah, the
Oh,
black guy.
Richardson.
Yeah, yeah. Y'all done with him?
I don't know, man. I
Hey,
don't
I
know.
think he gonna go somewhere else and ball though. But he don't. Sometimes he don't act like he want to play. Like he don't. Like he even want to play. I don't know.
Well, the thing I realized, coming from the football world, it for me the playbook can reconcile with a player, in my opinion. I when I was in college, I went to Central State for a year. I got hurt, but we had the Cleveland Browns playbook at that time.
Wow, that's
Playbook,
dope. that
the hardest playbook in my life. But if I'm in high school, if I'm
was
in,
that was that was a little flex right there. But go ahead, finish. Go ahead.
I was I was in a high school or junior college where we had the passing offense. Man, I was flirting. It's just when you get to different systems, it's you got to learn it.
It
Learn
makes
it.
sense, bro.
It's
That makes
hard.
sense. That makes sense because you take a team like Baltimore. I think within that system they let Lamar be Lamar. You know what I'm saying? Lamar look. Hey, I think I've seen Lamar look at that sideline before. Hey, yeah, coach. We going for it. Fourth and what? Oh, we
Yeah,
going for it. Yeah, let's go for it, coach. All
yeah,
right, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Not a lot of quarterbacks had that in their system,
yeah,
or they had that leeway, that freedom like that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. But that's a got having that athleticism to be able to prevent any negative from happening and make play.
Gotcha. What's it again?
No, I'm finna say, so you saying as far as Richardson, you feel like he need a situation where they play to his strengths, like where they
Not,
just
I think he gonna thrive somewhere else, bro. I'm telling you.
yeah, I think he just need to be in a different, go to. Let me see who would probably be good for him. Because the type of play he got that kind of like that Lamar Jackson kind of style. So Indianapolis,
man remind me of Cam Newton, man.
I'm telling you, him.
He might well go to He might well go to Pittsburgh. Might as well.
I think they was talking about at one point that he might, but that was when Tomlin was head coach. He ain't the head more
Rodgers done, bro.
is so
Send that boy to Pittsburgh, man.
yeah.
Rodgers is done. I'm sorry, Ken. That's your boy. He done, man.
Because if
It,
look, so you got Richardson, you got Daniel Jones, two different complete type of quarterbacks. Daniel Jones is not a scrambling type of quarterback. Richardson, he will run that ball.
Daniel
But
athletic.
Daniel
Yeah,
Wood get a little nasty with it, but
yeah,
his first instinct is really to pass, in my
yeah.
opinion.
and he's
But
a prime example, though. He just left New York. We was thinking it up in New York.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And look at him now. In a whole nother system, a whole nother city. He
Mm-hmm.
balling.
yeah, and they put him on a 1 year deal, so I don't know if they gonna
Now,
sign him.
I just thought they said they might do a little max deal on him.
I
They,
would,
they considering doing a max deal. But I don't know, bro. And you see Atlanta just released Kirk Cousins.
yeah. I think that,
And he taking the money truck with him.
yep, yeah. I don't think Kirk Cousins got much left in the tank, honestly.
Well, he might well go back. He can go back to Minnesota. He might as well.
He
Because
know that.
that rookie cooked. That rookie's not good to me.
Nah, he need to be a backup to somebody, kind of learn the system a little bit better, or put him in a different program with somebody else, and kind of do like Drake May. They had
And Drake May, I ain't gonna lie, that boy came out of nowhere on me. I wasn't watching him, I guess.
and because they had what's her boy name that they drafted him from Tennessee, and I forgot his name, start with an M, and he was the backup to May, and then Dallas picked him up.
Mac, you talking about Mac Jones?
No, well he's one of them, but no, the black guy.
Oh, you talking about Brissett?
No, 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 not Jacoby.
Oh, you
Uh,
said he with Dallas right now.
Oh, he with
yeah,
Dallas right now
yeah,
with the
yeah,
dread. That's right.
yeah.
I can't think of his name either. He don't play. He don't play. We got that.
So I mean, you got them guys, and Drake May just, I think he just better in the system, and then
It's Joe Milton or something like that. I don't know.
yeah,
Something
that's
like that. Yeah.
him. Yeah. So I don't know. We gonna see.
All right, man. Like I said, everybody picked Seattle tonight, so we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Uh, once again, man, we appreciate you, Bird. Man, you're welcome. Come on anytime, bro.
Good time.
Yes, sir.
Anytime, man.
Just let me know.
Hey, for sure, bro. Hey, this has been another episode of Revelation Through Conversation, the podcast, and we out.